Mad Max Fury Road and Mission Impossible Fallout are commonly considered to be the best action movies of the 2010s. But there can only be one that holds the crown. So rev up your engines or hold on for dear life. It's about to be a wild ride. Hello ladies and gentlemen and movie lovers of all kind, and welcome to another Cinema Showdown. As always, I am your host, Brett Murphy, and for today in the arena, it's going to be Mad Max Fury Road versus Mission Impossible Fallout. Before we kick things off, folks, be sure to check us out on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at BamTubeTV. As I said in the intro, these two movies are commonly considered to be the two best action movies of the 2010s. So I think action as the first round is the perfect way to kick this battle off. Both of these movies prefer to go with practical effects over the heavy-duty CGI we are used to in today's cinema. Fury Road is essentially a 2-hour high-octane action sequence. A chase sequence that goes from point A to point B and then back from point B to point A. It's loaded with insane stunts, massive explosions, and zany characters. It's said that over 80% of the movie was done with practical effects. CGI was often only used to make the landscape bigger, to remove stunt rigging, and to make Furiosa's arm, well, Furiosa's arm. We all know by now that Tom Cruise must have some sort of death wish. He always insists on doing the stunts himself. Aside from all of the other crazy stuff he's done in previous movies, and just looking at Fallout alone, he actually trained and did a 30,000-foot halo jump. He trained for weeks on end, hours a day, to actually be able to fly the helicopter during the final sequence. And he broke his ankle jumping from building to building. You come to these movies to see how far Cruise will take it next, and he never fails to up his game and blow the audience's mind. While both of these films are practical marvels, we can only give the first round to one of them. Fallout does have some breathtaking action sequences, but action isn't the main focus of the movie. Fury Road is a pure adrenaline shot straight to the eyeballs. With a relentless pace almost completely filled with jaw-dropping stunts, it's all action all the time, and that's why round one is going to go to Mad Max Fury Road. Fallout brings to the battle its main star, Tom Cruise, as Ethan Hunt. Alongside him is his usual IMF team consisting of Benji and Luther, as well as MI6 agent Ilsa and the shady and brutish CIA operative August Walker. While Fury Road has Max Rockatansky, Furiosa, Nux, and the Breeders. And of course, the main big bad, Immortan Joe. While Max's name may be in the title, this is definitely Furiosa's movie. Nux adds some depth and perspective to the story, while the Breeders add some humanity to the story, and Immortan Joe is all sorts of badass evil. You spend a very short time for these characters, but you feel for them and their situation. But when it comes to Fallout, this is the 6th film in this franchise. You've spent enough time with each and every one of them to care about them a great deal. And with the addition of Henry Cavill's Walker and his turn as the villain, it ties the whole story into a nice, neat little bow. It's the history that we have with these characters that give them the slight edge. I'm sure if we ever get those rumored Mad Max sequels, I may be singing a different tune someday. But the chemistry between the Mission Impossible cast and the fact that these characters are now instantly recognizable gives them the round 2 win. Both have mesmerizing cinematography, but where they differ is just about everywhere else. Mad Max is set in a zany post-apocalyptic world filled with bright and vibrant colors, crazy characters, over-the-top vehicle and costume design, and an endless desert landscape. While Fallout is a more slick and stylish espionage thriller, but Mission Impossible goes the extra mile by adding a bit more of a visual flair to its stunt work. I mean, Tom Cruise jumped 30,000 feet out of a plane, and guess what? That was done practically. How did they get that shot? The cameraman went too. While Mission Impossible may have taken some extra risks, there's just no denying that director George Miller has the eye and the mind for some extremely exciting visuals. The movie nabbed 10 Oscar nominations and won 6, almost all for visuals. While Fallout wasn't even nominated for a single Oscar, even though it certainly should have been in similar categories, the trophies just don't lie. Round 3 goes to Mad Max Fury Road. The Mission Impossible franchise is typically known for its thought-provoking and edge-of-your-seat storytelling, often topped off with fresh twists and turns to keep you on your toes. And Fallout is no different. In fact, it might actually be the franchise's best to date. After Ethan chooses his team over a case of plutonium, the countdown on the doomsday clock begins, as they race around the world to track down said plutonium before it ends up in the hands of the faceless John Lark and his apostles. This gripping adventure is packed with unbelievable action, consequences and complications galore, and a roller coaster of emotion, twists, and turns. And well, let's face it, no matter how much you might love Mad Max Fury Road, it's essentially just a 2-hour chase sequence. Furiosa turns on her leader by stealing his prized breeders and trying to take them to a safe place. Max is only roped into all this by chance. He gets captured just before these events take place, and he only plans to save his own skin before fully committing to the adventure. And then of course, Immortan Joe and his neighboring colonies begin the hunt for Furiosa and seek the return of said breeders. While there is never a dull moment in Fury Road, it is certainly running on empty when it comes to story. But Fallout may have just crafted and perfectly executed the best story in its franchise yet. Round 4 goes to Mission Impossible Fallout. Before we decide on a winner, be sure to check out our YouTube channel where you can find the rest of our cinema showdowns. And while you're there, don't forget to click the subscribe button and hit that little bell icon, that way you can be notified whenever we drop a new cinema showdown. Now on to the final round. Both of these flicks are jam-packed with memorable moments that will undoubtedly live on in action movie history, but which will leave a more lasting impression. Even though it was only released a year ago as of filming this, Fallout already has iconic moments. Aside from the many other memorable moments, it also has the most meticulously crafted story in the franchise yet. It is a wonderful continuation from the story we already have. It's the first time we've had a repeat villain and a repeat director, and Christopher McQuarrie has done such a great job with the last two that 2 sequels have already been greenlit for him. How far are they going to take it next? I cannot wait to find out. Fury Road has equally as impressive memorable moments. It is some of the best and most memorable action you will ever have the pleasure of laying your eyes on. But don't worry though, it does take its time to build up its characters, its world, and it has some real tear-jerking moments. What it really comes down to is the fact that Mission Impossible already has 5 movies in its franchise and 2 more on the way. There is a good chance that in the coming years it will just fade and blend in with the rest of the franchise. Even now, there are plenty of people out there who still consider Ghost Protocol or Rogue Nation to be the best in the franchise and not Fallout. But all in all, I think that Chris Stuckman put it best in his review. Every so often we get a landmark or milestone in action movies. 1981, Raiders of the Lost Ark. 1988, Die Hard. 1991, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. 1999, The Matrix. 2008, The Dark Knight. And 2015, Mad Max Fury Road. The 5th and final round, and the crown is going to go to Mad Max Fury Road. Please leave a like if you're enjoying the cinema showdowns. I love hearing what you guys have to say, so don't be shy. And comment below what battles you guys would like to see in the future. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And that's a wrap.